of friends and colleagues from both Italy and UAE that I'm going to introduce in a second. But first of all, let me greet and thank the two chairs of our council, Chair Riccardo Monti for Italy and Co-Chair Badr Al-Olana from UAE. And also I would like to thank the Secretary General Nicola Martinelli for being with us today. And also Zanta Pianoforti is an Italian company of pianos for being partner of this webinar. Also today with us is attending Mr. Nasser Halkaya, the head of media and public diplomacy of the Embassy of UAE in Italy. Hello, Mr. Nasser, welcome. And I would like to give the word to Mr. Nasser for some opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Paolo, for your brief and introduction. I would like to first start by introducing myself. So my name is Nasser Al-Khaja. I am the head of media and public diplomacy, as Paolo just mentioned, at the United Arab Emirates Embassy in Rome. First of all, I'm very pleased and honored to be present in this webinar alongside very distinguished and talented guests. And I would also like to extend and send you my ambassador's regards. His Excellency Umar Abeid Shamsi, our ambassador in Rome, whom since his arrival in Italy was very, very keen into enhancing, let's say, and elevating cultural relations between both of our countries, between the United Arab Emirates and Italy. As you know, Italy is a country with a great cultural potential, and seeing the United Arab Emirates now is a rising cultural hub in the region. And I know we live during, let's say, a COVID difficult time, I would say. And during such difficult times where there's, let's say, political instability or economical instability or social instability as the time we live in, this is where public diplomacy, and to be more specific, cultural diplomacy, takes the lead into driving, let's say, bilateral and diplomatic relations between both countries. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that culture is one of Italy's main pillars in its foreign policy. And so is the United Arab Emirates, as our late founding father of the country, His Highness Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, stated 50 years ago, during the establishment of the country. He emphasized the importance of culture into impacting and developing social and economical growth and development. I would like to also mention that or shed light on a specific program that our Ministry of Culture and the UAE has launched last year when the pandemic started expanding throughout the globe. They initiated this program that's called the National Creative Relief Program, where individual artists and small, let's say, artistic companies that have really been affected badly because of the pandemic have been given funds in order to help them, let's say, recover or bounce back. Again, as we mentioned, we're in a very, let's say, we're living in a social difficult situation, but it is a time, let's say, to be optimistic and to look forward to the upcoming future, hopefully to a bright and more developed future. And I would like to also mention that as we have Expo coming soon, during such difficult times is where opportunities arise. So Expo is a great opportunity for nations worldwide to develop and bounce back. It could be seen, let's say, as a rebirth of the entire world. I don't want to make, I don't want to take much of your time, and that's it for me. And I would be delighted to listen from my other colleagues and the panels. Thank you very much, Paolo.
Thank you, Shukran Jazila, Mr. Nasser. Thank you for being with us. So now let me introduce our guest speakers for today, starting from our two ladies. So from Zahra Lari from Abu Dhabi. Zahra is the first UAE international figure skater. Hello, Zahra, welcome. Then we have Beatrice Venezi, connected from Switzerland, but 100% Italian. Beatrice is a conductor, composer, and pianist. Hello, Beatrice, welcome.
Everybody, thanks.
Ihab Darwish from Abu Dhabi, composer. Hello, Ihab, welcome.
Hello, how are you, Paolo?
Very good, thank you for being with us. And last but not least, of course, Mr. Emanuele Bevilacqua, president of the Theater of Rome, Teatro di Roma. Hello, Emanuele, welcome.
Hello, hello everybody.
So thank you everyone for being with us. And again, we know you are all extremely busy, so we really appreciate for you taking the time for being with us today. And I would like to take this opportunity really to exchange some ideas between Italy and UAE. And I know that we are all working in the same direction and sharing the same scopes and objective for the future. So today we are going to talk about, once again, how art, music, and sport contribute to creating a foundation of trust between states and helps to reach a better understanding and collaboration between countries and people. This is mainly what it is, cultural and sport diplomacy. And of course, you are all very, very, great ambassadors of cultural and sports diplomacy. So I would like to start from Emanuele, and please let me share just a couple of photos here that might help us to visualize some of the ideas we are going to talk about. So let's start from Italy. Start from Rome, the capital, my city. Emanuele, you are the president of this beautiful, amazing, fantastic theater, which was founded in 1732, 36?
32, yeah.
32,
yeah.
So quite some history, I will say. And of course, it's one of the main theater of the capital and so of Italy is for our friends from UAE, Teatro Argentina used to be very, very important theater back in the days for opera and music, but over the last, I would say 100 years, maybe Emanuele is focusing on drama and traditional theater. So Emanuele, what does it mean to be president of such an important and prestigious theater in such a very difficult period? What are the challenges that you are facing?
Yeah, this is the problem. It's an honor for me, obviously, to be president of the Teatro di Roma, which means 8 different theaters. Argentina is the biggest one, is the best, let me say the best of the 8. The other are small and experimental theater, local theater, very good theaters, but Argentina is our national theater. As you know, we are living in hard times. I think everybody of us are on the edge of our future in a certain way. And there is a lot of things we are learning in this COVID period. I think we have a very strong ambivalence in all of us right now. We have the theaters now, these splendid locations closed. But at the same time, we feel that this situation could open a lot of opportunities that we have maybe abandoned a long time ago. I think it's the moment to help each other to understand what to keep, what to abandon of our pre-COVID approach in our experience and in relationship with other countries. I think everybody works in fields of culture and the entertainment industry knows that we face an audience that could really have changed its mood in this period. And this audience is more or less a sort of mirror of ourselves in a certain way. There's a recent poll in Italy who says that 50% of our public, I mean, in general in Italy, I'm not talking about Rome or Teatro Argentina, the 50% of the public of the theaters will return, but there is a 32% that will not. And this is a problem, really a problem. It's maybe a public who it's unfair to come back to meet other people. So our future may be difficult because we don't have enough occasion for meetings, for discussion, to understand each other, how to change our mood, our way of life. I think we need to talk to others, even for the people who used to work alone. This is a sort of dynamic that in this moment is fortely reduced. And talking with people, finding a way to get together in facing this situation is a sort of food that feeds all our activities. It's likely in this moment to be a little bit missing. We feel this, but at the same time, I can think we have to learn a lot of things from this forced closure. And we learned, first of all, that it's possible to carry out part of our work in a different way. Finding, for example, new balances. And I think if you can work on it, it will be possible to build a best future for everybody.
Absolutely. And, Emanuele, let me ask you, sorry to interrupt you.
Sure.
I totally agree with you. You know, this, of course, we know this situation created so many negative consequences, but at the same time, of course, gave us really the opportunity to think of the future in such a completely different way. Let me ask you, what is happening right now with all the main cultural venues all around the world that are basically on standby, is that there is an interruption of communication basically with our community, with our society, through art and through culture. Of course, we are trying to keep this communication alive through digital, so on the web, but we are all missing the fact of staying in the same place and sharing certain kind of emotions, certain kinds of feelings, looking to a movie or listening to a concert or watching to a performance. So why this kind of experiences are so essential to our communities, and especially to bringing together also communities, different communities. Now, Rome, it's a place where before COVID, every month we will have maybe millions of tourists coming, and so different cultures coming to Rome. What is, why we miss so much this live experience, and why this live experience is so difficult to substitute with the digital?
Because it's our life. We need to stay with people, and let me say, our experience in theater is all a live experience. Now we are doing a lot of different experiments. We are trying now some cabaret, some theater, on remote. We are live experiences with labs, with people, just a number very restricted of people, but it's not the same. We need to work for someone who is in front of you and listen to you and want to feel what you have to transmit in a certain way. Theater, live experience is essential. I teach at the university in Switzerland, and believe me, it's so hard to simply use this way of communications, because you miss all the experience you can have simply at looking at someone and talking with someone of something else, maybe the weather, or if the coffee is good or not, and so on. This is part of our life, we know this.
Absolutely. Lastly, Emanuele, so how do you think the social mission of our theaters is going to change? Because one thing is clear, not that we have also maybe to rethink the role of cultural organization, and so also theaters in our cities, in our society, because there is also, especially here in Italy, where we have hundreds, thousands of theaters, sometimes there is a distance, no? There is a gap between the people, the citizens, the audience, and the cultural organizations. How we can reduce this distance and maybe rethink the social mission of our theaters?
Yeah, I think we are trying to do this at our Teatro di Roma. I think the first way is to try to involve a new and younger audience. And I think the audience should be an active part of our project. We started something even in this period, in these horrible months, both in Argentina theater and India theater. We know that there is a high desire for participation in Rome from a younger audience. And the problem is find a way to let people can come to us. I think, first of all, we have to try to change the narrative of theaters. We don't run temples of culture, but spaces where people can simply love performances and learn new artistic languages. That's the core of our mission. And we are trying with seminars, master classes, to stay as close as possible to young audience. Because, you know, when we started this new experience, Theatre Rome, we had a lot of enthusiastic customers, audience, but a little bit aged. And there are these lovely subscribers of the Theatre Rome. Even now they call and ask for when we can start again. And the younger are a little bit cool. So you have to involve in a different way. We are trying to make some experience together on the stage, and works a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is very, very important. And I totally agree with you that we have to look at theater as a platform for the people, of the people, for the citizens, where they can actually interact and eventually also express themselves. This is very, very interesting. Let's now fly to Abu Dhabi, and I would like to go to Ihab, who is actually so involved in this discussion, because of course, as composer, Ihab, I know that you over the last 2 years have been extremely active also to understand how to express your heart, your music in such a very difficult scenario where theaters are closed, where you don't have a stage where your music will be performed. But I know that you found some very, very interesting solutions. So let's fly to Abu Dhabi. And this is your new project, Ihab, correct?
That's right. That's right.
Would you like to share some words about your project? Thank you.
Of course. First of all, thank you, Paolo, and all of you for being here today. It's a pleasure to have this interesting conversation, and it's very important to us. Going back to the subject, it's really frustrating for all artists and to actually miss the option to perform live in an event or on a stage. But at the same time, like the artists, they won't stop. Like me being as a composer, I have a message that I have to keep on going. So we created this project. It's an interesting one. It's very intimate to my heart. This is a virtual event where I composed, like, let's say 13 pieces, musical pieces in a symphonic approach. It took me like 2 years to compose these pieces. And it's infused with a lot of music genres, a lot of musicians involved in that. So I communicated with so many musicians all over the world, from all the continents, from Europe, from Italy, from Spain, and thanks for Emma for Peace for helping us sourcing out musicians. It was like beautiful, like Erica, she did a great job. So basically, we communicated with a lot of musicians from all over the world, and I proposed the idea to them, and all of them, they showed a lot of passion because I sensed in them that they miss to perform live in these difficult times. So the idea was really appealing to them. I sent them the scores, I sent them all the pieces. They performed all the pieces in the studio, and then we have actually to record them playing it live. Of course, after allocating all the content from all of the artists, we will project this, let's say, the music on a virtual stage, which is a 3D kind of virtual kind of feel. And all of them, they will showcase what they have done. And the good part of it, we've sensed the passion, the way they're performing in front of the camera, they're listening to the music, they're doing their parts, they are kind of representing their countries. Because when you have like all these artists from all these different parts of the globes, it's like the best example how to showcase cultural diplomacy, how to blend culture together, how to infuse our genres from Khaliji to opera to electronic to jazz to blues so all these genres are kind of connected, and we showcase these 13 pieces on this virtual stage. It will be on March. We will launch this project in March, and it will be distributed through Universal Music. But again, we have to find solutions. Art and music can't stop regardless of any challenges. It's really frustrating, but we need to find other solutions. And I hope that this project will be like a kind of unique one in the region. And we will send you, of course, the invitations so you can watch it soon.
Please do. Please do. We look forward for it, of course. Yeah. Why, of course, also myself, as you know, I've been working a lot on this kind of projects, trying to bring together musicians from the different parts of the world. Why it sometimes is so easy to bring musicians together for a scope to work along, even if, they have a completely different cultural background, they have completely different, priorities in life. But then when, you call them and you say, this is the project, that's the mission, that's the vision, let's use music to now reduce the distances between us, something special happens. Why with music so easy and with other kind of languages is much more difficult?
Of course. Music is a universal language, as simple as that. We as artists, we communicate through music, like even if we didn't speak, but the idea and let's say the message will reach the other artists' hearts and minds. Basically, music like blend cultures together. And when we deal with the musicians, you send them a music and they kind of like it. They automatically put their emotions, they automatically put their all their art in it. So like, again, going back to which is the Hikayat project, this is exactly what I've sensed when I approached them all. I have like all of them, kind of a positive feedback. The music was coming from the heart. It has a positive message. All countries, they would like to participate in this project so they can share the same message, the same vision, delivering peace, delivering tolerance, so that's why I feel music is a very powerful tool and communication channel to communicate between artists and even with people. The idea will reach faster, the message will reach faster and more in a purity form.
Yeah, I'm sure about that too. Absolutely. And that's why I find extremely, interesting and fascinating the role that you artist, composer, musician can play in our society, not only on the stage, but the role that you can play in our community, raising your voice. I think that people, nowadays, especially, they trust much more a musician, an artist than a politician. Because, most of the time, the sense of leadership that an artist can express, it's much higher than the sense of leadership that many politicians can express. Now, also what we were saying before, we miss so much to go into a theater in hundreds and thousands of people to listen to one artist. no? And we know how many politicians are struggling in having thousands of people not their speeches. Now,
right.
but of course, you know, I'm trying to play with words here, but the point is that society, they believe in the role of artists. And so you guys, know, as artists, can actually take this opportunity, use this positive trust to now express some very important messages, like the messages that you are trying to share with your project. So well done, you. I think that this is so important and meaningful. And talking, of course, about role of artists and artistic leadership, I would like now to go back to Italy, to Beatrice, which is a very active conductor, and she's fighting with all her energy to change a little bit the rules in the music industry, where of course we are used to having a lot of male conductors and not so many female conductors. So I know the journey that Beatrice has entered, and I'm very proud of her. So I would like to go back and start from here. We go back to a city which is in Italy, which is the city of Sanremo, which is a beautiful city in the region of Liguria, where we have this very important and historical music festival, which was founded in 1951. And we just celebrated the 71 edition. And interesting, Beatrice was a perfect ambassador at the festival, because she was not conducting on this occasion, but she was there exactly as cultural leader, basically. So as a perfect figure that represent a category, like the category of the artists, and she shares some very important message. So first of all, Beatrice, I would like to ask you, how do you work with your leadership as an artist? How do you feel as a young artist that communicate not only with the audience, but with the people, not only when you are on stage, but also now with social media and like with this participation at the festival?
First of all, thank you, Paolo, and thank you, everybody. It's an honor for me to be here sharing each own point of view. It's a big responsibility, first of all. To me, you know me, my main concern is about audience, basically. It's to find new audience, and to find, new audience, and possibly wider than before the COVID time and for the pandemic, because the problem of the audience was actually a big issue even before the pandemic. And I guess we will have to face this issue when we will go back to sort of new normality. To me, what would be very interesting and very important to do also is to go back to the roots, I would say, and rediscover our authentic culture. I see culture as a big hat that can cover with its brim our entire community, to gather it together and to make a new popular consciousness and awareness based on our roots and heritage, once again, which is something very important, that culture and even entertainment, kind of intelligent entertainment based on culture, and that's what this can do. And well, to me, communication is the key word. You were talking about that before. And well, in our country, the field of classical music bases its communication on a very traditional, and let me say that, quite old-fashioned mode. While what we truly need is to reach any layers of population, younger audience, that very layers of the audience which have never gone to any theater or to a concert or whatever else. So further to the prize, it is indeed necessary to recreate social fabric and revive the audience, I think. Therefore, a more social communication that is up with the times, is required for sure. And communication, in my opinion, should flow through medias and social medias, by means of specific professionals and icons, sources of inspiration, I would say, for the new generations and in general for the widest possible audience, not just for those in the know. And that is part of the reason why I was there, where I was in a very popular pop contest, you know. I think this might allow theater, the theater itself, become more social, a place of encounters where people can share and evolve through culture, beauty, and knowledge, basically. This is, you know, my main goal, and what I'm trying to do with my activity. And well, I do believe to look, let's say, after the pandemic and to the near future, hopefully near future, I think that theaters, we should reshape and rethink about the role of theaters in our society. So to me, theaters should be accessible almost all the year round, which is something that doesn't happen actually in our country. We need ticket prices to be really social and therefore affordable. And that's why, on the other hand, the government should field more attention and resources for the cultural compartment. But on the other hand, theaters should be more capable of attracting private sponsor. So, and I might say, I would say that entrepreneurship is the second keyword here after communication. And well, we are used to think that culture is a prerogative of the public authority, at least in our country. But well, I think it's desirable to find an interpretation of private and public. And well, in order to the sponsor, there is a question basically: how can a theater become as attractive as a football team? That's my main question, actually. I don't know if I have the answer for that, but at least I'm putting this question on the field.
Absolutely.
I think that if theaters become a place attended nearly every day by hundreds of people, and we are reaching this goal through the communication I was talking before, through an interesting and diversified scheduling of musical programs that can actually reach different layers of population, maybe also proposing contaminations with different forms of art and technology, through making it accessible by any layers of population, through creating educational programs dedicated to schools and again any layers of population. I know many theaters, the big theaters, at least they already do that, but also minor theaters should be involved in a widespread, far-reaching dissemination. Then, yes, I'm sure that through these innovation, we might break down the cliches regarding classical music. That is, in the cliches of being something old, dusty, just for a few people in the know, something very difficult to understand, and etc., etc.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely agree.
Yes.
Absolutely agree. We are facing so many challenges, and of course, this COVID situation even accelerated certain process of complexity. Well, it seems that now we have just to look at the future, and we have to forget about everything which is not technological, which is not digital. So we are, especially in the classical music opera world, we are struggling to innovate in 1 year, while we weren't able to innovate for the last 50 years. So it's even more challenging. But I think that especially through new generations of artists, of managers, hopefully we will be able to come up with a new vision, with a new leadership. And again, talking about leadership, I'm very interested to talk a little bit also about female leadership. You Beatrice, also being appointed as one of the, among all the nominations that you are receiving, about the 100 under 30s in Italy by Forbes, for your work also as a young female leader. And I'm wondering, we are talking about cultural diplomacy, how cultural diplomacy helps us to reduce barriers among countries and peoples. But I see that today we still have a lot of barriers inside our countries on national level. And from your point of view, what are the main barriers that are still limiting your work as a female conductor?
Well, of course, there is a cultural issue that is related to gender gap, because let's be clear, in our country there is still an issue regarding this theme, this subject. We are not on the same level like, I don't know, UK or US or other countries which are far more open-minded in the developing of this theme. So yeah, I think basically we have, you know, I've been interviewed a few times on this very subject, so you know my opinion already, I guess. But anyway, for everybody, I think the problem is that we are too much focused on the form and not on the substance of thing, you know. So facts are the important things. Facts are those which are changing things in the order of things. So if a woman nowadays still has to choose in between family and career, well, we can discuss about any term, the way we address, terms we address to women, but it doesn't change anything in her condition. So I think we have the very same problem in our environment, specific environment. So that the field of classical music, and of course, being a conductor means being a leader, basically a leader of a group, you know, an orchestra. And leadership in our country, at least, is not linked to the female figure in general. I found so many differences with other countries in the world. It's something very deep in the culture that we have to fight against with facts, basically.
True, absolutely. And I like that you are underlining facts, because of course it's important to talk as we are doing today, but after talking, we need to act. And I think that Zahra made a lot of good facts over the last few years, actually, with their amazing talent. So let's fly again to UAE, and we go back to Abu Dhabi. And I would like, this is the Zayed Sports City, correct? I choose the right photo, Zahra?
Yeah, that's correct.
Fantastic. Okay, I choose this photo because this is where everything started for Zahra, if I'm not wrong, Zahra. This is where you began learning to skate, actually. And well, Zahra is just an impressive talent. And I was so happy to read that actually, yes, everything started at Zayed Sports City. You started skating at the age of 13, but your first international debut was in Italy in 2011. So I think that we helped you to give you some success for your career, right, Zahra?
Yes, definitely. Italy's my good luck place to go.
Exactly. So tell us a little bit, how does it mean to be an international professional ice skater?
Well, first of all, I would like to say that I'm really honored to be talking here with you guys today. And many people might not understand the sport of figure skating, how it's supposed to be interpreted. So figure skating is not just a sport, it's a sport and an art. And people usually tend to forget the art aspect of the sport as well, because every time when we're on the ice, it's not just us skating and doing the jumps and doing the spins and the steps, but it's also about the choreography. And we're actually, it's almost like a painting. So while we're skating, it's like a painting and we're trying to tell the story. And a lot of hours go into it, into picking the music, into the costumes, into the choreography, and what story do we actually want to tell. So that's what I really like about the sport. So sometimes I don't have to say much. I can just show it with my programs. So every year we have 2 programs, and for example, this year, well, it's supposed to be last year, but due to the COVID situation, everything got canceled. So when competitions do start again, my stories are 2 programs. And the first one, it was such an honor for me to collaborate actually with Ihab, and he actually composed my music. And the music is under the name of Zahra, and it really basically tells my story from the first day I stepped on the ice to where I am today, with the struggles, the barriers, everything that I had to go through until where I am today and how I am at the success that I am today. So first I would like to thank Ihab for composing such a beautiful music for me.
You're the big inspirer, Zahra, of course. It's our honor.
And it's such a beautiful music as well. And so basically, in order for me to tell my story, I do that program so people get an idea with who I am and how I started. And my second program would be, it's a program that is under Legends Never Die. So basically it is that I am doing what I'm doing today, so my story never ends. So when I do stop competing, I create a whole generation of people that can take over what I started. So that's the beauty of the sport. It is basically each person creating their own painting, their own art, and what they really want to have people listen and their journey.
Right. Wow. So inspiring, Zahra. Zahra, what does it mean to be such a young talent sport player and to represent your country through such discipline? What's the position that you are covering? What's the sense of responsibility, but also the opportunity not to represent your country internationally with such a special sport discipline?
To be honest, it is extreme pride for me to be able to represent my country and to be able to raise the UA flag in places that they were never raised before and events that they were never raised before. So these are the things that make all the struggles, all the tears during practices worth it. And as you said, so my first international competition was actually in Italy, in Canazai in particular. So going from the desert to extreme cold temperature was a huge shock for me. But it was a really beautiful event, and it was my first, let's say, debut to the world as a covered also athlete, the first Muslim covered athlete to be in the sport. And a lot of history was made actually in Italy. So in Italy, it was also made that no female would be getting any deductions because how she looks or how she dresses in the sport. And also it was my first time showing the world that UAE as a desert country has a winter sport and winter athletes. So to be honest, it is, I do what I do in order for me to show people that the UAE is able to accomplish everything. Anything that the people want, the UAE is able to accomplish it. And I travel literally all over the world. I've been to Japan, I've been to Russia, I've been to Italy. Most of my competitions are actually in Italy. And I've been to so many countries, and to be able to show people my culture, be able to discuss about it, because most people don't know a lot about it. So it's a really good idea to go out there and to really show people what us Emiratis have, and also just to exchange ideas and also create friendships and have friends from all over the world, and be able to discuss different things and different ideas. And unfortunately now with COVID, as everyone is struggling, most of our competitions are canceled, and this is the second year now it's been canceled. As a season of 2020, all competitions were canceled, and now again, season of 2021, they are canceled. With the Olympics coming up next year, we have no idea if the Olympics are going through or not, but we're just hoping that it will, so I'm able to show my beautiful programs. And also all the competitions now are, if they do host competitions, it is all without audience. So that also removes the whole beauty, the whole idea of it is that there is no audience. So it isn't really us showing a story. It isn't really telling a story. It's just us going out there and trying to do a sport. And I think this is where the sport, I feel like, will get lost, is it's not really figure skating without the audience, without the people sharing the emotions that you're giving out. So I really, really hope that things do get better worldwide, internationally, and I really hope that things can go back to how they were soon.
Inshallah, absolutely. So Zahra, one last thing, I read that you launched or supported a beautiful campaign named Dream Big Princess.
Mm-hmm.
What is this about?
So actually, the Dream Big is it's basically, it was a collaboration with actually Nike, because I am a Nike ambassador as well. So Dream Big, it is basically just, you have to, it's just really me telling my story out to people. It was a campaign that we did create in order to show people, if you dream big, it can happen, no matter what your circumstances are, no matter what your struggles are. If you dream big, all dreams can come true. But in order for them to come true, you have to work extremely hard. You have to put in the hours. You have to really be dedicated for it. Just showing especially girls that you can do, for example, sports. You can do, if you choose to, in art. You can do any of that. You can do it. And I think also the people's perspective worldwide is changing about female women, especially in sports, and also about Muslim women. And I think that is the main goal, is trying to change the whole idea about Muslim women. And the last Olympics, the Summer Olympics, we saw so many Muslim covered women participating. So for me, that was a huge, huge accomplishment already. Seeing the world change. Even here in the UAE, we have so many females. We have national teams in hockey and figure skating, football, literally any sport you can think of, we have a female team. So it makes me just very happy, actually, and very emotional that what I'm really working hard for is actually happening, and that the world is changing to a better, and that females, especially here in this region, are actually going after their dreams, and they're accomplishing a lot.
Absolutely. Well,
To add something, Paolo, sorry to interrupt. I wanted to tell you that Zahra inspired a lot of people in our country, and she inspired me. When I saw her dancing and when I saw her performing on ice, I couldn't without offering her to create music for her. So thank you, Zahra, for this beautiful partnership, and keep it going. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ihab. Thank you.
Thank you.
Zahra, keep dreaming big, please, for all of us, for your country, and the new generation of female sport players. Absolutely. So let me go to the conclusion. Well, first of all, Zahra, of course, we wait for the Winter Olympics in Italy in 2026. So as you know, Milan has been nominated the city, Milano Cortina, for 26. So we wait for you there at the Olympics. And as you know, guys, Milan in 2015 was, of course, the city hosting the expo, and the theme was Feeding the Planet, Energy for Life. And we can't wait, of course, to attend Expo Dubai 2020, which will start in October 2021. And the motto of Expo 2020 Dubai is connecting minds, creating the future. And I think that today we did our best, for sure, to connect our minds and to look at the future all together between Italy and UAE. So I would like to thank you very much. And as a final conclusion, I would like to ask to every one of you, what's your hope for the near future once finally we will be out, hopefully soon, from this pandemic? What's your hope for the near future, Emanuele?
Yeah, I think we have to build up the best season ever, all together, working together, and looking at the future with an optimistic point of view. With young people as Zahra, we can go forward and doing a lot of wonderful things together.
I totally agree with you, Emanuele. Ihab?
Actually, of course, we hope we get out of this soon. And we hope that we will meet again and we create art, music together, seeing each other live on stage. And regardless if this is going to end soon or later, but we'll keep on collaborating, we'll keep on sharing our culture together with as much project as possible. And yeah, hope things will get better.
Thank you, Beatrice.
To me, the word is renaissance. Renaissance for everybody, for culture, for art, for our society, well, for every one of us, basically. And yes, let's hope to catch up on some in some theaters or on some stages.
Thank you, Zahra.
Well, my hope for the near future is for everyone to go slowly back to normal life. And also my hope is to have a whole huge national team coming to your Olympics in Italy.
Great. Best of luck for that. So thank you, Emanuele, Ihab, Beatrice, and Zahra.
Thank you to you, everybody.
For ideas.
Thank you.
My hope is that this webinar will give an additional opportunity to this group of people and to other friends of the council to interact, to make network, and hopefully to create positive initiatives and projects in the near future. So thank you, everyone. Let me say thank you also again to our co-chairs and chair, Nicola Martinelli, our Secretary General. Nicola, I think that you would like to say a few words, just as final remarks.
Yeah, I would like to thank everybody, especially Maestro Venezi and Zahra. But our ambassador is our new ambassador is Zahra, because she is very, very strong, and I agree with Emanuele. She has the power, the strongness to go ahead and to design for us a new future. So thank you for joining to this webinar, every one of you, and I think good luck for your project. I listen very carefully, so thank you again.
Thank you, Nicola. Also, thank you to our team, Umaima and Maria Luce, for the support, technical support. Thank you, everyone. All the best.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you, Paolo. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.